Okay, so I'm doing something a bit different here. I've kind of always wanted to make this video, but never really had the urge to up until now. So anyway, at the new job, one of my new coworkers, we had a bit of a back and forth about the game, and well, here we are. I felt like playing it again and grinding up another 99. I figured why not show off how I do it though, and also show a few tips and tricks how to make insane mode really easy if anyone is planning to do that in the near future. I know this is like over a decade old, and people are playing, probably a lot of other games too at this point, but I still find myself coming back to this one personally. It's easily one of my favorite beat 'em ups. But anyway, as you can see, we're at the very beginning, and I'm gonna go away for a bit. I will get more into doing a couple of certain combos here and there when we get to it. So let me just get past a couple of the first stages, and then I'll get into the rest. Alright, so getting into what I was just doing on the screen there, as I'm sure many of you saw me doing, is I was abusing this endless combo. I actually learned how to do it by watching a two-man playthrough of Insane Mode. I think it was Cloud9, and I forgot the name of his buddy. I think I may have mentioned this before. I also actually have a bit of kind of cool history, at least I think so, with this game. So, the guy who holds, like, all the world records for Castle Crashers on PC, I was actually lucky enough to befriend the guy, and he told me how many hours he'd put into the game. And I got really good just by watching him, and now I'm sort of just passing that on to anyone who's, like, willing to give Insane a shot. Because a lot of people, like, just do normal and kind of end it off there, but a lot of that's usually due to attention span or just plain building wrong. If you continue to watch this, I can tell you the right way to do everything. It's really easy. It is pretty much like, and the build is pretty much going to be the exact same for every character after. It's just a straight up cookie cutter build. Generally what you want to do, and you know, why don't I tell you how to do that combo first. Alright, so as you see, I'm about the door here. This is actually the best spot in the game to practice it if you're not really too confident in doing it. So how it goes is you jump at the enemy, you want to do 2 light attacks, and follow it up with 2 strong attacks. Here's the thing though, as soon as you do the first strong attack, you kind of want to just sit still for a moment in mid-air as you saw me doing, so you can keep your enemies in place, you can keep sweeping them across the screen. It gives you a lot more control, you can go back and forth with them, etc. So it's light, light, strong, strong. I've experienced doing it quite a bit, so it's really easy for me to pull off. And what I just got for the animal orb is the giraffe. And this is the only pet you'll ever need until you get to 99 anyway, in which case, after that, I recommend the hawk. He attacks down enemies, occasionally gets you fruit, and yeah, that's pretty much all he does. He's still really good though. He combos with you essentially. Like if an enemy's on the ground, he'll go pecking at him. And that extra bit of damage can be really helpful. And the reason I grabbed the lollipop is because generally, and this is how leveling in the game works, they don't tell you this, you usually have to find out the hard way. So the way you level up in the game is you level up based on the number of hits, not the amount of damage you do to enemies. So basically what that means is you want to grab a weapon that has like a lot of agility and decreases your base strength stat usually. Because you'll get more hits than on the enemies, they'll be alive for a lot longer, etc. And most of the enemies in the game are, as you're going to see, are light. And by that I mean you can just keep doing that endless combo. There are a couple of different weight classes that you'll come across besides them. There's the heavy ones, then there's like the medium heavy ones. And I can show off like which enemies that the character select in a minute, just so you can see what I'm talking about. I could show off a couple levels too. But I've already got my weapon and the animal orb I want, so I'm just gonna go wait for it again. But this is pretty much how your first run of Insane is gonna look, and for that matter, how all of your runs are Insane are gonna look, provided you want to get it done quickly anyway. I had no idea about this combo until like way later, because it's funny, I actually did my first Insane playthrough with a buddy. All I did was just pelt arrows at the enemies. It took freaking forever to get through it, and I do not recommend doing that. But anyway, I'll go away for a bit now, I'll make a couple of moves, and then I'll get into a couple other things. Alright, so I'm just popping in for a second to let you know about the, certain weapons will have certain elements on them, like fire, ice, poison, and, let's see, fire, ice, poison, and lightning. And I tend to avoid those weapons because if you're doing that combo that I was just showing off, you can easily, like, for some reason in mid-air, if they get hit with an element and you're trying to do that combo on them, they'll just drop from it entirely. So I recommend staying away from weapons like those, especially if you're doing insane mode. But anyway, moving on. Okay, now this is like really super important. So, well, before I get into the stats, I don't know if I mentioned it or not yet. The giraffe I have doubles your EXP for each hit you inflict on an enemy, and I don't remember exactly where in the desert you find them. That won't be till the second like half of the game. So your first playthrough, just keep an eye out for any X's in the ground once you get the shovel. You'll get the shovel pretty early on once you get to the desert. Just dig into any X's you'll see what I mean, like when you eventually get to seeing it for the first time. In fact, I think you can go back on my playthrough and dig in a couple spots and show off a couple of hidden, not just animal arms, a couple of hidden swords as well. But so for proper stat distribution, like if you want to have the most comfortable time ever, your first priority should be putting everything into speed first thing. Reason for that is it gives you the best amount of control over your character. And if you're feeling like not very confident in yourself, you want to play more defensive after that, then I would recommend putting everything in the defense. But if you know what you're doing and you're very aggressive, like me, after you max out your agility, you'll want to start putting everything in the magic up until the last blue bar. Like, make sure you get all the way up to that last blue bar. Leave the last 5 stats for later on. At that point, you want to just focus on maxing out your defense. And after your defense is maxed, finish magic and do not touch strength at all until you hit 99. Just trust me on that. It will save you a lot of grinding. And a lot of time, because you'll just be killing things way too quickly. You won't be able to benefit from leveling very much. One other thing I do want to mention is once you max out agility, you can actually get through like the rest of the game very, very easily. Like on the regular playthrough, just keep pelting arrows at all the enemies and bosses, and you'll get through normal, like no problem at all. It's a joke, honestly. But anyway, I want to unlock a couple other combos so I can show off You know, I could probably just do that on another character, but I want to at least unlock a combo or two, and then I'll move over to another character, so I can show off what I mean. You're going to be dealing with different weight classes, you'll need to approach them differently. So I'm just going to do another level or two, and then I'll move over to one of my other maxed out characters, so I can show off what I mean. Bear with me, it'll all make sense real soon. Alright, I think you'll get the point, at least as far as the endless juggle combo goes on the majority of the light enemies. I don't want this video to be too long, and frankly I need to get to grinding this guy up, because I really do want to get him to 99 hopefully within the next few hours before I gotta get up in the morning for work. But anyway, and yeah, I can't explain why I feel the need to do so. I don't know, I'm in the mood. Like I've said, I like to come back to this game now and then, and just to prove that I'm not bullshitting when when I say I know how to get to 99 very easily, I'll show you my character select real quick. as you see, I have like 5 characters. I haven't gotten the 99 yet. I plan on knocking them all out relatively soon, though. I have everybody unlocked, too. Got all the DLC, and I got Battle Block Theater while it was on sale. I recommend waiting for it to go on sale, especially if you don't plan on playing it like at all like me. But anyway, I'm gonna go through some enemies here and just tell you their weight classes, and you're gonna see why this is important in a minute or two. So, he's a boss, don't really gotta worry about him. Light. Well, actually, you don't fight these guys. Heavy, light, medium. You only encounter a buff guy, so I'm not gonna count him. The king, you don't fight. Light, they die in one hit anyway, but it really doesn't matter. Light. You don't fight these guys, you don't fight these guys, obviously. Or Hattie, or the blacksmith, or the pink knight. Medium, light, also light. Medium, don't fight them. And these guys are a very special case because in like the first couple introductory levels to them, they start out light and then they become like full-on heavy after that. I don't know why, I can't explain why. Like once you get to the Cyclops Castle, one of them only will be light on either normal or insane, and then after that the rest will just be heavy. And I'm gonna show off what I'm talking about with my favorite character, which is the Eskimo. As soon as I can find him. There we go. And this is generally the setup I recommend going with just about every character. You want the Hawk and the King Scepter. Like, especially if you're serious about tackling Insane Mode, that's what I recommend. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you, you're seeing me fly. Okay, so this is a really all-around great weapon for Insane Mode. +3 strength, +2 magic, +3 defense. And this is what I mean about spamming arrows when you max out agility. You can even kite with it, go up and down, go back. It makes normal a complete and utter joke. A couple specific areas I want to show off, just so I can show off an example or two. And I'll get into how I perform the flying technique too. It's not that hard. So how it's done is, after you jump in the air, you can, and this is the harder way of doing it, you jump in the air, hit light attack, and then immediately hit heavy attack after, and then hit heavy attack again. Do it rhythmically, you fly. Light, strong, over and over again. Now the easier way of doing it is to do it after a magic jump. And this is your best friend on Insane Mode. The only thing that will not work against is buff enemies, as in ones that look like they had a sandwich, because for whatever reason, I don't know why it's coded this way, but if you fly over a buff enemy and they capitalize on it, they can just pluck you out of midair when you're nowhere near them. In fact, if you go back and you watch my solo run through on the Necromancer boss fight on Insane Mode, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's very infuriating, and it will screw up a lot of your runs, especially if you're attempting to solo the Necromancer on Insane. It is not the easiest thing to do. In fact, it's the most difficult thing to do in the game, at least I think. But I'm gonna hit a couple enemies so you can see another combo that's really important. And this is most common against these guys and the Snake Knights. And it'll also work on buff enemies if you can, you know, get that to work consistently. More power to you. I don't chance it personally. So what I like to do is I like to do the regular combo first. So I jump at them, light, light, heavy, heavy. And then right after that, I'll do light, heavy, heavy, light, heavy, heavy. And if I have time and room to, I'll do light, heavy, heavy again, and finish it off with a magic attack. And let's actually set this to insane, because this is too easy. Okay, well, anyway, you get the idea for that one. Again, that's against more of the medium weight enemies. Now, this is the most important thing I want to show off as far as combos, because you will not unlock it until level 50, and that's another reason I recommend maxing out speed and agility and magic as quick as possible, because that's also, like, I think required to even get the combo. And you will want this for the heavy enemies. And how to pull it off is well, I'll just show it off. Give me a sec. Okay, so how it's done is 3 light attacks, 2 heavy attacks. And you want to do this on the heavy enemies, especially in a particular area here I'll be showing off in a minute. But I'm gonna go away for a bit and like just get over there real quick. So give me a sec. Alright, so really quick, as you just saw, that's the move I'm talking about. There's this really funny exploit I'll show off that only the Blue Knight and the Eskimo can do. And it'll be at the ladder, so give me a bit. We're coming up to it soon. Okay, so here's the really important part. This is actually a dead end for a lot of players trying to beat Insane Mode. In fact, no joke, my first run through doing this level with my buddy, it took us an hour just to get through this level alone. Because all we were doing was firing arrows. We had no idea what the hell we were doing our first time around. But I'm going to hopefully make that a lot easier for everybody. Just watch for a bit. Okay, unfortunately, as you just saw, I unfortunately died there, but anyway, that's what you're supposed to do to make it a lot easier. It's actually a lot more risky, as you can see, if you're doing it by yourself, and that's generally why I recommend not doing insane mode, especially not by yourself the first time around, because when you get to this part, that can easily happen to you. And the reason I'm going back to normal mode is because I want to show off the best grinding spot in the entire game to get to 99. So you're gonna run into a forest after defeating the barbarian. Like, you're gonna make your way through it, and then once you get to the it's gonna be before a part where you have to run through an auto scroller inside a barn. You'll be running along on a deer, and essentially there's this troll boss, and it hatches a bunch of mini trolls, like, from its head. It just loses its hair and forms mini trolls. But anyway, you sweep across the screen, avoiding the main troll as best you can, because once it dies, all the trolls around it die. And that's another reason you don't want to put anything into strength at all, because if you kill the main boss too quickly, then there goes your EXP grind. You have to get there again. But anyway, I'll just quickly show it off. Alright, so as you can see, that's pretty much how you do it. Obviously, I'm on normal mode and I'm already at 99, so there's no need for it. But that's where you go to do it, and you especially want to be doing that on insane mode to get the most out of it. The only other thing I can really suggest is, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you get to it. At the final boss castle, there's like a boss gauntlet before you take on the evil wizard himself. First, you'll fight an artist. And I know it sounds odd, and it's the only time you encounter him in the whole game too. But anyway, you kill him over and over on normal for really, really easy money. So if you're like gold starved or you need to just save up and get something quick, that's the way to do it. But anyway, that's all I've got for this one. So might be doing a playthrough in the near future with a buddy from work. We'll have to see how he feels about that, but anyway, that is going to do it for this one. I'll see you guys later on. Peace.